Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will show you how to migrate legacy on-premises file system to AWS S3. We will use AWS Data Service to migrate data from on-premises to AWS. And then we will use AWS Storage Gateway service to present the file system back to on-premises. Before we dive into the demo, let me quickly introduce about myself. My name is Srinivasan. I have over 21 years of IT industry experience, and I am also an AWS community builder. And these are the AWS certifications that I have achieved in the past. And I am also an ex AWS partner, AIML Black Belt, and ex AWS partner ambassador. I think that's enough introduction about me. Now let's quickly see what data migration is. Data migration is moving data from one computing environment or storage system to another. Organizations collect and store data for analytics. They have to move data between systems for integrated visualization due to technology changes or because they want to move operations to the cloud. Data migration aims to move data efficiently and quickly and avoid disrupting business operations. It includes planning for considerations like network resources, data security, and time and transfer methods. Data migration may also involve storage architecture considerations for missing data values or changing data types. Now let's see the importance of data migration. Organizational data resides in physical storage, on-premises servers or virtual servers, single machines and different applications. Data is also stored in many different formats and types. Data migration becomes necessary to improve the usability of data while increasing efficiency in data management and storage. Cloud data migration unlocks many new benefits for organizations. First, implement modern application architecture. Moving data to the cloud lays the groundwork for deploying your applications in the cloud. You can modernize legacy systems and rebuild them into cloud native applications that leverage microservices, containerization, serverless, and other modern designs. Application modernization increases agility and accelerates innovation. Next, reduce storage costs. Migrating to the cloud helps organizations eliminate the high costs of maintaining on premises infrastructure. With cloud storage, you only pay for what you use and can scale up or down based on demand. It is also highly cost effective for use cases like data archiving or backup and recovery. Next, improve data security. The cloud includes capabilities like encryption, access controls, logging, monitoring, and automated incident response. Organizations only have to configure cloud security controls and can avoid setting up the entire network infrastructure and security software, which is otherwise necessary to meet data regulations. You can also store sensitive data in specific geographies as required. Next, enhance analytics. Cloud data warehouses allow you to integrate data from multiple sources into a centralized environment. You can quickly set up data quality checks and a real-time data ingestion necessary for modern use cases. You also get native access to AI ML services and can quickly add intelligence to analytics. Now let's see some of the data migration types. Data migrations from one source system to another target system. The architecture of these systems and the reason behind the data movement determines the type of your data migration project. First, storage migration. Storage migration involves transfers between data storage systems to improve performance, scalability, and cost efficiency. A typical example is moving files from an on premises NTFS based file server to a cloud storage solution like Amazon S3. Storage migration is often one of the first steps in cloud adoption, as it allows organizations to move large volumes of documents, media files, backups, and logs to the cloud without reworking existing applications. Key benefits include reduced hardware maintenance, easier access to data from anywhere, improved redundancy through built-in cloud replication and versioning features. In this demo, I will show you the storage migration strategy. Next, database migration. Database migration refers to transferring data between database systems. It involves a move from on premises databases to cloud based solutions. For example, a company might migrate its SQL Server database from an in house data center to a cloud relational database service like Amazon or DS. The process typically includes data conversion, replication, and performance tuning in target environment. The main drivers for database migration are reliability and cost reduction. Cloud databases offer automated backups, high availability, and the ability to scale compute and storage independently. I already have a video in my channel for how to do the database migration using AWS DMS service. I'll give a link for the video in the description. Please check it out. Next, application migration. Application migration involves moving entire software applications and their associated data from an on premises data center to the cloud. A good example would be migrating a legacy ERP database software to a cloud based version of the same application or a new SaaS platform. This process may require replatforming or even rebuilding the application to make use of cloud native capabilities. The benefits of application migration include better performance, easier updates, and integration with other cloud services. Organizations can modernize their technology stack and improve user experiences through enhanced speed and availability. And I also have a video about application migration in my channel. I'll give a link for that video in the description. Please check it out. Next, business process migration. Business process migration transfers the operational activities and workflows that support business functions to the cloud. For instance, a company might move its customer service operations from a mix of manual processes and on premises CRM tools to a cloud based CRM solution. This often requires migrating data, logic, and integration points that underpin core business functions. The motivation behind this type of migration is usually strategic. Businesses seek greater agility, faster decision making, and better customer experiences. By hosting these processes in the cloud environment, companies access real time data and automate tasks more effectively. Now, let's see the data migration strategies. First, lift and shift. Lift and shift is the easiest way to migrate data. You keep the data in the same format without any transformation and simply transport it and store it in another location. While it's an effective strategy, it can be less useful for cloud migration. Storing the data in the same format often won't help effectively capitalize on the benefits of cloud storage. Next, use pre existing tools. Many data migration software tools are available to help organizations complete a successful migration. These vendor and open source tools facilitate enterprise data migrations from a management perspective. For example, AWS DataSync is an Amazon Web Services offering. It helps organizations transfer their on premises shared file systems, object storage, and Hadoop clusters to AWS Cloud Storage Solutions. We will see how we can use AWS DataSync in this demo to migrate the data from on premises to AWS. Next, move all at once or in phases. Depending on the data, you can move everything all at once or shift the data in stages. For example, you can split up a large amount of data and perform chunked data migrations overnight over several weeks. While it's easiest and fastest to migrate data all at once, sometimes it's simply not possible. Now let's see what AWS DataSync is. AWS DataSync is a secure, reliable, fully managed, high speed online data transfer service that automates and accelerates moving large amounts of data between on premises storage, edge locations, and AWS storage services like S3, EFS, and FSX. Now let's see some of the benefits of AWS DataSync service. First, automate data movement. Data sync makes it easier to transfer data over the network between storage systems and services. Data sync automates both the management of data transfer processes and the infrastructure required for high performance and secure data transfers. Next, transfer data securely. Data sync provides end to end security, including encryption and data integrity validation, to help ensure that your data arrives securely, intact, and ready to use. Data sync accesses your storage through built in AWS security mechanisms such as AWS IAM roles. It also supports VPC endpoints, giving you the option to transfer data without traversing the public internet and further increasing the security of data copied online. Move data faster. Data sync uses a purpose built network protocol and a parallel multi threaded architecture to accelerate your transfers. This approach speeds up migrations, recurring data processing workflows for analytics and machine learning, and data protection purposes. Now let's see some of the use cases for AWS Data Sync service. First, migrate the data. Transfer data Transfer active datasets rapidly over the network into AWS storage services. Data sync includes automatic encryption and data integrity validation to help make sure that your data arrives securely, intact, and ready to use. Archive cold data. Move cold data stored in on premises storage directly to a durable and secure long term storage classes such as S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval or S3 Glacier Deep Archive. Doing so can free up on premises storage capacity and help you shut down legacy systems. Next, replicate data. Copy data into most Amazon S3 storage classes, choosing the most cost effective one for your needs. You can also send data to Amazon EFS or Amazon FSX for a standby file system. Transfer data for timely in cloud processing. Transfer data in or out of AWS for processing. This approach can speed up critical hybrid cloud workflows across many industries. These include machine learning in the life sciences industry, video production in media and entertainment, big data analytics in financial services, and seismic research in the oil and gas industry. Now let's see the architecture that we are already having. So this is the architecture that I already have. I have an on-prem and AWS environment. I'm using two AWS regions. I'm using US West 2 as on-prem environment and US East 1 as AWS environment. I have already created two VPCs and I have also set up AWS site-to-site VPN between these VPCs in the two different region. And if you want to know how to set up AWS site-to-site VPN connection, and you can follow my channel, and I already have a video in my channel, and I'll give a link for that in the description. You can check it out. You can see how we can set up AWS site-to-site VPN from the beginning. So this is the architecture that I already have. I will show you this resources once we log into the AWS management console. So let me simplify the architecture and show you what we are going to implement. So first we are going to create an S3 bucket in AWS region, like US East 1 region, and then we'll create AWS data sync instance. Once we create that, and then we will create an endpoint for data sync service, and then we will activate the agent on the on-prem region. Once we activate the AWS DataSync agent, and then we'll create the tasks, and we'll be able to migrate data from our NFS server to S3 bucket using the VPC endpoint and AWS VPN connection internally without traversing through the public internet. Data will transfer securely over our VPN, and then it will make use of that VPC endpoint services, so it will not traverse through the public internet. So this is the architecture that I will show you how to implement step by step. Once we migrate the data from on-prem to AWS, then I will show you how to use AWS Storage Gateway services to present the data to on-premises server. So we'll create AWS Storage Gateway service. Agent. We'll create that agent in on-prem. We'll create that AWS Storage Gateway instance with the agent installed on it, and then we will activate the agent. And once we are done with that, I'll show you how we can create a file share and then present that to our application server in on-prem environment. So here also we will use VPC endpoint. We will not we will not let that data will not travel through the public internet. We'll copy it, or we'll present it to the on-prem server using our AWS site-to-site VPN connection and VPC endpoints. Yep. So this is the architecture we are going to implement, and I will show you. I'll walk you through the process step by step. Nothing to worry. You are in good hands. And I think that's enough theory. And I will log into AWS Management Console, and I will walk you through the process. Okay, I have now logged into AWS Management Console. Currently, I am in US East 1 region, that is Northern Virginia region. And let me show you the VPC. So I have a VPC. This is the AWS VPC. I'm using US East 1 region as a AWS region. And if you see that this is the VPC, and IPv4 CIDR for AWS side is it is 10.0.0.0/16. And I can show you that VPN connections. So I have a site-to-site VPN connection between on-prem and AWS region, and this is the VPN connection. State is currently available, and if you see that tunnel details, so I have two tunnels, and both the tunnels are up and available. It's good. And if we go to EC2, I have one instance that's running. That's the server in the AWS region. Now let me just go to US West 2 region. Maybe I'll open it a new window. I'll change the region to Oregon, US West 2. This is the region that I'm using for on-prem environment. I'll click on VPC. And our VPCs. So I have on-prem data center environment here. And if you see that I have an IPv4 CIDR for on-prem region as 192.168.0.0/16. So, and if you see the EC2 instances, so I have three instances running at the moment. One is our on-prem router, and so the another one is on-prem application server, and then NFS server. So these are the instances that I have already created. So this is simulating our on-prem data center environment where we have application server and NFS server. So we have data on NFS server, and we will access it from our application server. and I'll show you how we can migrate it to AWS using AWS DataSync service using VPC endpoints and AWS site-to-site VPN connection. As I have already mentioned, if you need to know how to set up AWS site-to-site VPN connection, please refer to my video in my channel, and I already have it, and I will give you the description for link for the video in the description. Okay, now let's first go ahead and create an S3 bucket in US East 1 region for our data. So once we migrate, we need to migrate to we are migrating to S3 bucket. So let me open it in a new tab, and let me click on create a bucket. This can be a general purpose and a bucket name. Let me give it as maybe data sync demo Thiru data sync demo bucket. Hope this name is available. Let's see. So I'm just going to leave everything as default, and ACL is disabled, and I'm blocking all public access. Okay, so everything is fine. Default encryption setting, and let me go ahead and create a bucket. Okay, I think that name is available. So Zero Data Sync demo bucket. So we have created a S3 bucket in East 1 region. Now let's go ahead and create an instance, and we have to create an instance and deploy a data sync agent in on-prem environment. Instead of doing this manually, AWS already created an Amazon machine image. It's a pre-built one with a data sync agent deployed on it. So we can deploy that image and can launch an instance. So let me go to US West 2 region, that's Oregon region. Let me go ahead and launch an instance, and I can create name this one as data sync agent. Maybe I'll just name this one on-prem, just to make that naming convention. On-prem data sync agent instance. And for the instance image, to find it, we can just search for it, and it will give you several instances. I can just click on community AMIs, and it's going to give several ones. So we may want to use the latest one. So instead of comparing that one and see which one is the latest, so we have a parameter stored already, so we can use that and then get that parameter. So I'll show you. Maybe let me click on Cloud Cell, and here is the command. So it's AWS SSM and get parameters, and the parameter name is AWS slash service slash datasync slash AMI, and then we need to give the region. So we are going to create this instance in US West 2 region. So we'll get the AMI ID for this region. So if we give this one, we'll get the value, see AMI value. So this is the latest one for data sync agent instance. Let me copy this one, and maybe I can close this one for now. And instead of go ahead and checking which one is the latest, I can simply search for this AMI ID. So we'll get the latest AMI for our data sync agent instance. So it already have that data sync agent is deployed on this one. We don't have to do any of that manually. Just let's wait for a while. It won't take much time. So once this instance is listed, we can select that one, and then we can launch an instance. Just coming along. So once that we need to create an IAM role as well. So I'll just walk you the process through the process. Let just this one come, or I can just maybe go ahead and create an IAM role while we are waiting for this here. Just go into a new tab, click on role, create role, and use case is so this is EC2 instance is going to use this role, and the permission, let me search for data sync. For this demo purpose, I'm just going to give AWS DataSync full access, but for in production environment, we want to restrict the access. So if you want to see, it just gives the full access for our DataSync service. Okay, I'll just give this one next. Role name, I'll just name it my EC2 DataSync. Maybe role, I'll just name this one. Okay, my EC2 data sync role. I think it allows EC2 instances to call AWS services on your behalf. That's good. I just created. If you search for this EC2 data sync role, so the trust relationship is EC2 service is going to assume this role, and it's going to use STS assume role, and the permission is AWS data sync full access. I think that's good. Let's go back to EC2 instance section. Yeah, so we can see just only one AMI. That's because we are searching with AMI ID. So this is the latest AMI for our data sync agent instance. Let's go and select this one, and let's see. Okay, yeah, we have the name on-prem data sync agent instance. Okay, that's good, and we have this one. It's good. Instance type. Let's give it a little bigger one for this one. Okay, I'm going to use T2 large. Keeper, I don't need. I'm not going to log into this instance, so proceed without a keeper. This is what I'm going to give. And then for network settings, let's select our VPC, that is on-prem DC VPC. And for the subnet, let me just go ahead and do it on a public subnet. And so for auto assign public IP, let's give this one enable it. And for existing for a security group, let me create security group. So HTTP access security group. So we need to have HTTP access for these instances to get activation key and activate it. So we just need it only during activation. So after that, we can remove this HTTP access. But so let me let my HTTP access security group. Okay, I'm just going to use the same one for the description. And for role, I'm just going to select HTTP. And for this demo purpose, I'm going to leave it as anywhere, but you may want to restrict this one IP address as well in the production environment. And this looks good, and storage, that's fine. And let's go into advanced details and select our instance profile that we have created. So we created my EC2 data sync role. So this is what we have created for our EC2 instance to access data sync service. So this looks good, and we don't have to do anything else. Just let's go ahead and launch the instance. So it's getting launched. Okay. So let's wait for this instance to be up and running, and then we need to make sure that a status check is passed. So while this is okay, to create a VPC endpoint, let's go back to US East 1 region, that's Northern Virginia region, and go to VPC in a new tab. Click on endpoints, and let's click on create endpoint. Let me name it my data sync VPC endpoint. Okay, and for the service, let me search DataSync, and let me select this one. It's an VPC endpoint, interface endpoint, type is interface. And for network settings, let me select AWS VPC and leave this details settings as default. And I'm going to create the endpoint in EOS 1A zone, availability zone. For subnet, let's select private one. We can select either public or private subnet. So I'm going to use private subnet. And this looks good. And for security groups, let's create a new security group. Let me just click EC2 in a new tab, and let me go to security groups. Let me create a new security group. My data sync VPC endpoint security group. Okay, fine. I'll give the same for description. um, for VPC, select AWS VPC. For inbound rule, I'm just going to allow all traffic for this demo, but I may want to restrict it in the production environment. For the simplicity of the demo purpose, I'm just going to use all traffic, and I'm going to use anywhere IPv4. This is okay. Let me create a security group. Go back to VPC endpoint. Let me refresh this one. Okay, yeah, my data sync VPC endpoint security group is here. Select this one, and for policy, for now I'm going to leave it as a full access, but I may want to restrict it in the production environment, so I'm not going to do that here. So looks good. Let me go ahead and create VPC endpoint. So this is taking a while. This will take some time for it to become available. And meantime, let's go back to our on-prem region and see if our data sync agent instance is up and running fine. Yeah, it looks good. So it's this on-prem data sync agent instance is up and running fine. Our status check has passed. Everything looks good. So once our VPC endpoint has been created, we can go ahead and activate data sync agent on this one. So let me go ahead and pause the video and come back. It will take some time for the I think it's quick. So the status is now available, and then we have created a data sync VPC endpoint. Let me go ahead and open a cloud cell first. Okay. So we need to first get a data sync agent activation key. If we are using a public service endpoint, that means if you are okay with our data traversing through the public internet. So this is the command to get activation key for our public service endpoint. uh, but it will be different for our VPC service endpoint if you want to use VPC service endpoint, because we don't want our data to traverse through public internet. We want to use VPC endpoint. We have already created a VPC endpoint, VPC interface endpoint for our data sync service, and we are using our site-to-site VPN connection. So it won't be available or accessible through the public internet. So this is the command to get our activation key for data sync activation key for our VPC service endpoint. So the activation key will be different for a public endpoint and private service endpoint, VPC service endpoint. So we need to be careful about it. Otherwise, will not be able to activate our agent. It will be totally different one. I will show you here. So just maybe first let me see the public one. So okay, first I will show you that, like, if that agent instance is accessible HTTP service. We have already, if you remember, we created a security group and given a HTTP access to this instance. So let me go ahead and copy this IP address. Uh, okay. Yep. It works. So this instance is accessible or HTTP. If you wanna do get an activation key for uh, okay. Yeah, let me just copy it back. IP address and if it is going to be we need to give a region and just east one region and give me the rest. So it's gonna give an activation key. So this is the activation key for our public service endpoint. If we use this one with our VPC endpoint, our activation will fail and we will not be able to activate our agent. And I'll show you that activation key for our VPC service endpoint. It will be totally different one. So for this, let's copy this again. Okay, and IP address. I'll go ahead and copy from here. It's easier. Okay, okay, and copy this one. The remaining gateway type. Okay, activation. Okay, region. I'm gonna give our US East one region and prevent leak endpoint. Okay. So we need to get VPC endpoint IP address. So for that, if remember, this is our endpoint. Let me okay. Let me do. So this is our VPC endpoint that we have created. And if you go into subnets and we see that like IPv4 address that's created for our VPC endpoint. This is the IP address that we wanna give it here. And this looks good and let me copy everything else here as it is. I think I didn't miss anything here. Let me see. Yeah, it looked good. It just worked. So see, if you see this activation key is totally different for public service endpoint and the VPC service endpoint. So we cannot use the VPC service endpoint if you want to activate public or if you want to use on a if you want to use if you use this activation key for our VPC endpoint, it will fail when you are activating it. So we should be very careful. And if I've given you the commands, and I'll give you the all these commands in the description if you want to follow it along with me. And so we want to use this activation key. Let me copy this one. Okay, think yeah, that's good. I copied this one, and let's go. Maybe I'll just open it a new window. DataSync service. And I don't need a cloud cell here to make the screen bigger. And I'm just gonna get started. And we don't want to do this deploy agent step because if you remember, we have used the AMI created by AWS, which already has our data sync agent deployed on it, and we have also retrieved the activation key from it. So if you wanna do it like yourself in your on-prem environment, you can just select what service. So if it is NFS and then destination location, if you wanna do it through S3, and then we can download this image and then install it on our hypervisor. We don't have to do this step because the AMI that we have created has already the agent deployed on it. And so I'm going to skip this step, deploy agent step. And for the service endpoint, so we are not going to use public service endpoint, because if you remember, like, we want to use VPC endpoint using AWS private link. I'm going to select this one. And so it's already the populating VPC endpoint, whatever that we have created, that is already populating here. And the subnet, that's good. And the security group, the same security group that I'm going to use. So everything is good. For activation key, and we are going to use manually enter your activation key, because there is a problem using the console. So if you are using agent address, if you use the public address, and it's going to get activation key only for our public service endpoint, not for VPC service endpoint. So that's why we have used the CLI command to retrieve the activation key for VPC service endpoint. So I'm gonna give manually enter your agent's activation key, and I'm gonna give the activation key. And please do remember that the activation key is active only for 30 minutes, I believe. So you like, if you want to use this same activation key after some time, and if it doesn't work, you may want to execute the CLI command one more time and get the new activation key. Just remember that. So we have given that activation key here. And agent name, I can just name it my data sync agent. Okay, that's fine. And everything else looks good. Let me go ahead and create an agent. I think looks good. Its agent status is online, it's created. uh, that's good. Now let's go ahead and create locations. We can do it from here or from here. So if you see, um, no, don't leave it. Maybe just stay here. That's fine. I can go ahead and create. That's fine. Yeah, just go ahead and create this one. So for net location type, I'm gonna use NFS, and I'm gonna use this agent. Good. For our NFS server, I need to give the IP address of our NFS server. Let's go to US West 2 region, that's on-prem region. Let me select our NFS server, and let me copy the private IPv4 address. Okay, that's good. This is our NFS server. Okay, and for the mount path, oh yeah, before we do all these things, I'll just go ahead and log into both our NFS server and on-prem server and show you that current architecture that we already have it. Let me log into NFS server first. So let me go ahead and click on connect, and I'm going to use EC2 instance connect. Connect to the NFS server. So we are in NFS server now, log into this one. And if you see, I'm going to media and going to data and images. So this is the location, media slash data and slash images. And I have over, I think around 500 images in this location. And I'm gonna, I'll show you how I can access this from our application server. Let me leave this one here. Go to instance. Okay, go to application server, connect. Again, use it to instance connect to this one. We are an application server now. Okay, now let's go to, okay, we are in mount directory. Nothing is mounted at the moment. Okay, I can show you. Okay, nothing is mounted. Now let me create okay, data. So this is we have created a directory named data under MNT. If you wanna see this one full, Nothing is here. Okay, good. Let me go ahead and mount. This is a NFS file system. Um, Let me get the IP address for our NFS server. Okay, private IP address. Okay, from this instance and from our NFS server, if you see our images are here, slash media and slash data. I'm gonna mount this point slash media and slash data. Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't get copied. Okay. Okay, fine, copied. And now let me mount that under slash mnt slash data. So we are mounting that NFS file system from our NFS server and from this location. Okay, my bad. I think we need to use our root permission. I was using just mount, and let's run this command as root sudo mount this NFS file system from our NFS server from location slash media slash data to slash mnt slash data under NFS our application server. Good. The command succeeded. You can run the command mount. You can see that one, and it's mounted here. Mount NFS, and also we can run this command df skh. It's a human readable format. Like you can see our NFS data from our NFS server. It's mounted under slash mnt slash data, and we are in our application server. And then if you just cd to slash mnt slash data, and we have images, and let's go under images. The location is slash mnt slash data slash images, and we can see all our 500 images jpg files. So we can access our files from our NFS server from our application server. Okay, this is good. So this is what I just wanted to show you before we continue creating the location for our addressing service. So go back to NFS service, NFS server, and as I said, like the images or data is under slash media and slash data and images. This is the location. Okay, go back to the AWS management console and our US East 1 region where we have created our data sync agent, and now we are creating a location. So mount path, let's just give this one slash media and slash data. This is the mount path in our NFS server, and this is our NFS server private IP address. This looks good. Let's go ahead and create this location, and we need to create one more location because this is for our source location, and we need to create one for the target. So let's select Amazon S3, and for S3 URI, and let's go ahead and browse and go to page 2, and let me select AWS DataSync demo bucket. Okay, so this is the URI for our bucket. And for S3 storage class, you can just leave it as a standard. I'm just going to leave it as standard for this demo. And for IAM a role, we don't have a role. Let's go ahead and auto generate one. It's going to create a role. Okay, it has created this role. Maybe I can just show you this one. Let me open our IAM service and go to roles, and not users, roles. And what is this role that it has created? So it says data sync. Okay, let me just search for data sync. Okay, so this is the role that it has created by itself automatically. So for trust relationship, it's the data sync service. The principal is AWS data sync service is going to assume this role, and the permission is our for our S3 bucket. So It has the required permission for our S3 bucket, that is our data sync demo bucket. So this is what it has automatically created. Let's go back to create location, and this is good. And yeah, let's go ahead and create a location. So now we have created a location for both source and target. And now let's go ahead and create a task. I'll go ahead and create a task. And so I'm going to choose an existing location because we already created. For the region, it's US East 1. And for source, I'm going to use NFS. Um, that's good. Go next and choose an existing location. Good. And I'm going to use our S3 bucket location. That's good. Go ahead and name it just my data sync task. Okay, I just name this task as data sync task. Scan source data options, contents to scan. I'm just gonna leave it as everything. I'm not gonna do specific files, object, or folders. But if you want, you can do that here. And you can just exclude if you want to exclude something, and we can do that. And file type, whatever you want to do, that you can just do the create a pattern, do it here. For transfer options, I'm going to leave it as default. Transfer only data that has changed. Or if you want to transfer all data, it will every time when you execute this task, it will transfer all the data. We may not want to do that. First time we will transfer all the data, and next time it will transfer only the data that has changed. So I'm gonna leave this one a default, transfer only data that has changed. And for verification, just leave it as a default. I'm not gonna touch anything here. I'm just gonna leave everything default here. For schedule, I'm not scheduling anything at the moment, but if you want, you can just schedule it. So it will run based on the schedule. I'm gonna run this task manually. I'm not gonna do that schedule, so I'm just gonna leave that. I'm not gonna select anything, not schedule, and everything is fine. Logging, yeah, it's fine. So it's gonna create a CloudWatch log group, and so it's already auto generated here for me. And so this is where our logs will go under CloudWatch. Let's go ahead and go next. Everything looks good. You can just review if you want to change anything, but looks good to me. Let me go ahead and create the task. Okay, we have created the task, and we can execute the task. Before I just start running, I just wanted to show you one more time. I'll go to our S3 bucket. This is our data sync demo bucket, and if you see, doesn't have any data in it at the moment. Let me go ahead into data sync service and then the task. Okay, I'm going to start the task and start with defaults. So it's the task status is running, so it will take some time. And so once this is completed, and if you come here, and we can see our all the files from our NFS server, all the 500 images, it will be copied. I'm gonna pause the video and come back once this is completed. Okay, I'm back now. The data sync task is completed and status is changed to available. And if you go into our bucket and we still don't have any objects, the data sync task looks like some problem with it. Let's go back to our task and let's go to task history and check. Looks like it has failed. There is an error. And if you see that, like the task failed to access a location, failed to connect to an NFS server, I think I know what I'm doing. So this is a good pointer for us to debug. If you remember, we had created our data sync agent instance on our on-prem data center. Let's go and see if that instance security group has access to our NFS server uh, for NFS service. Let's go back to our US West 2 region. Okay, let me go to instances and let me just go to a data sync agent instance and go to security here and go to security group. Oh yeah, it's only HTTP access. What I can do is I can give NFS access also for this one from this one here, inbound rules. um, Let me do that one. So no, I don't think I know how to do that one here. Okay, to let me copy the security group ID, this one. Okay, and go to security groups. Let me select our NFS server security group. Okay, this is the NFS server security group. And what is this? It has, okay, so if you see here, we have our NFS inbound rule for our NFS protocol for our on-prem application server security group, but we need to give access also for our um, data sync agent instance security group. Let me add a rule. Select um, NFS again. Let me give custom. Let me give security group. Let me give our HTTP access security group. That's the security group. Our data sync agent instance is in. So that looks okay. Save the rules. Okay, now it should be good. And let's go back to East 1 region. Go on, click on tasks and select the task for data sync service and start with the defaults. Okay, so it's going on, it's running. And if you go to task history, you can see the first one has failed and the other one is in launching. And just going on. Okay, so let's wait for some time and I will come back once this is completed. Okay, I'm back now. So the data sync task has completed. Now the task status is in available status. If you go to task history, you can see the first one that was failed and it didn't run 0 seconds. The second one has succeeded, just ran for 12 seconds and it has copied all the 500 files. So let's go to our S3 bucket. So this is our bucket, data sync demo bucket, and you can see the images is copied. And if you select here, we have all our 500 images copied here. So we have 300 here, and if you go here, so all 500 images are jpg files is copied. Looks good. Okay, and we have our metadata file also created here. This is additional, this is the metadata file created by our data sync service. So this is good. So we have created data sync agent instance and on-prem environment which has our data sync service deployed on it, and then we have activated our data sync agent, and we have created tasks. We have created two locations for source and destination, and we have also migrated the data using VPC endpoint for our data sync service. We are not using the public endpoint. If you remember, when we activated a data sync agent, we have retrieved the activation key for our VPC service endpoint, and then we have also created our VPC service interface endpoint for our data sync service, and we have used that to activate the agent. So the migration of data from our on-prem services, NFS server to AWS S3 is completed. Now let's go ahead and see how we can present the data from our AWS S3 bucket back to on-prem environment, on-prem server, using AWS Storage Gateway service. We will also use the VPC interface endpoint for our storage gateway again. So we will not use any public service endpoint. So before we do that, we have to again create an instance for our storage gateway and then deploy the agent. So let's go ahead. Let's go to US West 2 region, that is our on-prem environment. Let me go to EC2 instance. Okay. So it's instances. Let me launch an instance first. Um, so if you want to do this one, okay. So my okay. No, let me do it. Just follow the naming conventions. On-prem storage gateway instance, and for the AMI, let me search file S3, and it's gonna give me several options. So we may not know which one is the latest one. So same here. Let me open a cloud cell. Let me just click on reconnect here. Okay, and let me get the latest AMI from our parameter store. Okay, so this is the parameter that is AWS service and slash storage gateway and AMI and file S3, the latest one. And we need to give the region. We are going to create the instance in US West 2 region. So if you don't give, and if you give for different region, so the AMI will not be available. So we need to give the region where you want to create the instant. Uh, so this is our latest AMI ID for our latest image. Let me copy the AMI ID, and I think I am good. I don't need this one. Okay, let me see. Okay, yeah, I think it has found one. Yeah. Okay, so this is the latest one. Okay, storage gateway. The, Let me select this one. Okay, the latest one. If we don't use latest AMI, sometimes when we are trying to activate the agent, it would fail. So make sure to always use the latest AMI. Otherwise, it would fail to activate the agent. Good. We have the name given. That's fine. This is good. Okay, and instance type, just remember we may want to give a large instance here, like it could be C5 or M5. Otherwise, this would fail. So let me give C5. Okay, uh, 2x large. Maybe I'll just do C5 2x large, or M5 2x large. If you give a smaller instance, it would fail again. The launching the instance, it need the larger one. Okay, I'll give C5 2x large. That's good. I'm gonna go with without a key pair. I don't need one. I'm not gonna log into this one because the agent is deployed by AWS, and then the AMI is created. That's a golden AMI. Okay, for VPC network settings, let me select on-prem DC VPC and just leave with public subnet, and I'll enable the public IP address here, and let me select our HTTP access security group. That's good enough here for this one. And under storage, we may want to add a new volume, and we may want to give minimum 150 um, gig GB volume, secondary volume, additionally for storage gateway instance. Otherwise, it would fail. So for safety purpose, I'm just going to create a volume with a 300 gig here, secondary volume, EBS secondary EBS volume. This is good. And also we need to create an IAM role, instance profile. Okay, let me open a new one. Okay, I don't want to do it here. I want to. Okay, let me just type IAM roles. Okay, that's good enough. Go ahead and create a role, and so we're going to use EC2 instance is going to use this role, assume the role, and let me give. Okay, so AWS Storage Gateway full access. I'm just going to give this one. That's fine. Okay, my EC2 gateway access role, and just create the role. And if I select this one, okay, so if you select this role and if you check the trust relationship, it's the EC2 service, EC2 instance is going to assume this role, and permission, it's your storage gateway full access. That looks good. Go back where we are creating the instance, launching the instance. Okay, let me refresh here and select my EC2 storage gateway access role. Okay, that looks good, and everything else is good. Fine, let me go ahead and launch the instance. So it will take some time for this instance to be launched, and the 300 GB EBS volumes to be attached. Just remember, as I mentioned, like we may want to create a larger instance, C5 or M5 extra large to X large, and also remember to add a secondary no add additional ABS volume with the minimum 150 GB storage capacity in it. This will take some time. I'm gonna pause the video and come back. Or maybe before we do this one, we can go ahead and create VPC endpoint. Okay, let's go to US East 1 region. Okay, and go to VPC. Okay, let me just close this one, Cloud Cell. I don't need this one at the moment. Okay, glad we are here under endpoint. We can see like the DataSync VPC endpoint that we already created. So let's go ahead and create a new endpoint, VPC endpoint for our storage gateway. Okay, my storage gateway VPC endpoint. Okay, my storage gateway VPC endpoint. This is fine, and here storage. Okay, okay. So this is the storage gateway one. Okay, let me select the storage gateway interface type endpoint. And for under network settings, let me go ahead and select AWS VPC, and this is good. And let me again select is to one A. Or I can do is to one B. That's fine. Doesn't matter. And let me select private subnet. Okay, that's good. And okay, so let me go ahead and create a security group. Okay, back here to the security group tab. Good. This is under EC2 security groups. Create a new security group. Okay, my storage gateway VPC. Okay, point security group. Okay, just for us to remember. That's it. Good. And VPC, it's AWS VPC and inbound rule. I'm gonna just do all traffic for anywhere from IPv4, but you may want to restrict this one here in the production environment. Let me just leave this. Good. Create the security group. Fine. Let me go back to our endpoint screen here. Let me refresh the security group. Okay, good. Now my storage gateway VPC endpoint security group. Let me select this one. Good. And policy, I'm going to leave it with the full access for this one. So you may want to select custom and restrict it in the production environment. So everything else looks good. Let me go ahead and create this endpoint. Okay, let me just unselect this one. And so this is our storage gateway VPC endpoint. It's an interface type endpoint. um, just it will take some time. Let me go back to the EC2 instance on Oregon region to see if that is done. Oh, good. It's queue. So it's up and running fine now. Or this one on-prem storage gateway instance, and the status check is passed. Good. Let me go to storage, and I will show you. Okay, we have both the volumes. The second volume with 300 GB. That's good. It is created and attached. It's in use. Perfect. And as security group is good, and our IAM role is attached. Everything looks good. Okay, let me see, go back to the VPC endpoint, and if this is done, good. The VPC endpoint for our storage gateway is also created, and it's in available state. Okay, now let's go ahead and get activation key, and I will show you how we can get the activation key. Let me, okay, get this one. Let me open a cloud cell. uh, okay, yeah, good. Let me go ahead. Okay, yeah, it's just reconnecting it. Wait for a minute. Okay, it's good. And to get the activation key for our public endpoint, I'll show you the command. This is the command to get the no activation key for our public service endpoint. So you can just give our gateway IP address and then activation region, and we can just get it and get the activation key for our public service endpoint. But we want to get the activation key for our VPC's endpoint. So the command to get that one is this one. So don't worry, I'll give you all the commands in the description, so you can just follow along if you want to. um, so this is the command to get the activation key for our storage gateway instance. Let me just get this one. Okay, okay, I'll copy it here. Okay, and gateway IP address is our instance IP address, gateway instance IP, on-prem storage gateway instance IP address. Copy this one. Good. And activation region, and gonna create an area activation key for US East 1 region. That's good. And VPC endpoint. Okay, let me get the VPC endpoint, and we need to give the VPC endpoint. Let me go here. Okay, let me just, okay. So our storage gateway VPC endpoint is selected, and under details, if you go here, DNS names, I'm just gonna get that DNS name for this one. Okay, I'll give this one. Okay, so this is the VPC endpoint gateway VPC endpoint DNS name. I copied it from under details here. Okay, so right here, copied it, and the rest you can just copy from our command. Okay, good. Just let's get the activation key. So we got the activation key for our VPC endpoint. This is not the activation key for our public service endpoint. This is the activation key for our VPC service endpoint. So please remember to get this one. Now let's, okay, now let me copy this one. Okay, and let me just open a storage. gateway service. Okay, I don't need a cloud cell here. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and create a gateway. For gateway name, my storage gateway, and time zone. You can just select your time zone. And for gateway options, I'm gonna use Amazon S3 file gateway. And let me just go ahead and change it to my time zone. Okay, that's good. And so for platform options, we can just select Amazon EC2. And if you want to use defaults, I can just do this one, or like customize your settings. You can just do this here. I'm going to select this one. I'll just show you here. If you remember, for instance type, we have already performed this step. Like we have launched our gateway, instance in the on-prem environment. So if you remember, we had created an instance with the C5 2x large, but we can select an instance type with a M5 x large or greater. Otherwise, it would fail. Otherwise, the instance would get launched, but the status check would get failed and will not be able to get our activation key and will not be able to activate it. Just remember that, and also remember to create additional ABS volume with a minimum 150 GB. So if you remember, and then it just gives you what is the inbound security, I know, in group rules that we may want to set it. And also it talks about creating an additional EBS volume minimum with minimum 150 GB. So we did all this. We are not going to do this one, so we just check this box saying confirm. I have completed all these steps and launched the EC2 instance. Yes, we did that. Go next. uh, for connection options, again I'm going to give activation key and give our activation key. Otherwise, if you just see it here, and it will get publicly accessible, or public service endpoint, uh, activation key will be retrieved from here. So we don't want to do that. I'm just going to do this one, and I'll give the activation key that we have copied from our CLI command. Looks good. Go next. Looks good. Activate gateway. So just successfully activated gateway. Now we need to wait for our storage, cache to be configured. Let's just wait for some time. Otherwise, we may want to do this step manually. So just it won't take much time. So let this storage, cache storage gets configured. Uh, just disk status is preparing local disks. And let's go ahead and see the remaining when we are at it. I think, yeah, nothing much. So we're just gonna create a CloudWatch log group. Just gonna create a new log group, or you can use an existing one. And alarms, so we can just say no alarm or custom one, or you wanna use recommended alarm. I'm just leaving it with the recommended one. So everything else looks good. So the following disks were redirected on your gateway's host platform. So yeah, just not yet, just detecting it and configuring it. So if it takes much longer, maybe I'll just pause this video and come back once. Oh yeah, as we talk, it's just done. Got it created. So cache storage is configured, and this is this one, and capacity is 300 gig. That's good, more than enough. We just need minimum 150 GB, so we have 300 GB. And just remember to see, make sure that it's allocated to cache. No, we don't want this to be unallocated. Just allocated. It's cache one. Okay, good. Everything else has to be reviewed. Looks good. Go ahead and configure this one. Okay, so it's configured, status is running, looks good. Okay, now let's go ahead and create a file share. Click file share here. Okay, now let's create a file share. So let's select the gateway. So this is the storage gateway that we created, and file share protocol is NFS. We are going to do NFS. And for our S3 bucket, I'm gonna select our DataSync demo bucket. Good. So everything else is the default configuration. I'm not gonna, maybe I can just customize the configuration. Okay, good. This is the gateway. Good. This is fine. Go next. This is connected to S3 storage. This is fine. I'm not gonna change anything here. So I'm gonna create it based, automatically created IAM role here. That's fine. I don't have to do anything here. So I'm just using everything else as default, just except for one thing. Go to next. Okay, yeah, for access level, I just wanted to say no root squash, a remote user, receives access as root. So I just wanted to select this one. So everything else is fine. I'm just not gonna change anything. Go next. Looks good. And so access level is no root squash. That is fine. Just let me go and create this one. Okay. So file share has been created and added to the gateway. That's good. It's perfect. So we can see that example commands to mount this uh, file share. If you want to use on a Linux system, you can use this command. On Windows, you can use this one, or Mac OS, you can use this one. So let me just go ahead and mount this one. Let me copy this command for Linux system. Let's go back to our on-prem environment. Go to EC2 instance. So I'm gonna select our on-prem application server, and I'm gonna connect to this one. I think I already connected, but I don't know if the session is active yet. No, let me just close this one, close this one also. So go back to instances. Let me select on-prem application server, connect, and connect. Use EC2 instance connect. Good. Okay. So now we are connected to on-prem application server, and if you remember, like we have already mounted our NFS share from our NFS server. Uh, Say our NFS server has been mounted here. Okay, if you see, just look under MNT, we just have data. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new directory. I'm just run a root user sudo mkdir make directory. I'm gonna do mount, and for file gateway I'm just gonna use fgw, like just short acronym for file gateway. Good. Okay, now if you run this command, so I have two directories under mnt. But if you see that amount data and images, that's the one mounted to our NFS server. That's good. But if you use ls mnt and file gateway, so nothing is there, nothing is mounted. So we are going to mount, just paste the command that we have already copied, that is like a mount as NFS service, NFS file share. So this is the private IP address for our file share. I'll show you here. So this is the command that we copied, and if you see file shares, gateways, so this is the IP address for our storage gateway IP address. The IP address with our VPC endpoint that we have created. If you remove 192.168.15.152, that's the one here, 192.168.15.152. This is our VPC endpoint for our storage gateway service, and so this is the location, and I'm gonna. Okay, to fix the security group rule, let me go to US West 2, that is Oregon region, and let me select our on-prem storage gateway instance and click on security and check the security groups. We only have one security group, that is HTTP access security group. And if you see the rule, inbound rule, it does only have HTTP protocol allowed for our inbound rule. It doesn't have NFS access. we can do two things. We can just create a new security group and allow NFS protocol, or we can just edit this security group and allow inbound rule for our NFS protocol. So for simplicity purpose, I'm just gonna edit the inbound rule here, and I'm just gonna add a rule, select NFS, and I'm gonna select anywhere for IPv4. I'm gonna save the rules. Okay, now our this security group is assigned to our instance, that is on-prem storage gateway instance, and it now allows NFS in our security group. Inbound role is modified. uh, so I can just uh, do that here. Okay, we have one. Let me just refresh this one. Okay, maybe. Okay, yeah, now you can see both are you know HTTP and NFS protocol is allowed here, inbound rule. Okay, now let me go ahead and reconnect to our application server using easy to instance connect, and let me go ahead and copy this command of again one more time. Copy this command, and just let me just quickly refresh you. um, we don't have that. We just only mounted our NFS server here. Good. And can just type mount command, and to show you. Good. This is mounted. Good. Now let me clear the screen and paste this command and change the mount path, okay, to /mnt/fgw. This is the mount path that we have created. Good, it works now. And now if you do it mount, that it's mounted here. And let me clear the screen and I'll just give this command. Good. So now we have our two mount. This is the mount that we have from our NFS server, that is mounted to /mnt/data, and this is our NFS mount from our S3 with our VPC endpoint, and this is the one, and that is mount to /mnt/fgw. Let me just give /mnt/fgw. Okay, it has that images, and that's, if you just give this one, we can see all our 500 files. Looks good. Okay, now let's see, validate it from between our NFS and our, S3 location. Just let's run this command to see if there is any difference. This mount data is the one that is mounted with our NFS server, and this is mounted from using gateway service from our S3. And so there is only one difference at the moment, that is this that AWS DataSync metadata file that was created when we did a migration task. That this created by the metadata file was created by DataSync service. I can go to S3 and I can show you here. Yep, this is the one file created, but everything else should be good. Okay, this command is now completed. I can see we don't have any difference between our NFS server and our file gateway mount point. Just the only one difference is this metadata file that is created by DataSync service. That's in our S3 bucket now. Okay, this looks good. Now let's see how we can do incremental copy cut over. Let me just quickly copy one file. Okay, so I'm just copying a file from our NFS server mount, just creating a new image. Now if you see, so we just created a new image under /mnt/data, that is our NFS share mount. But if you go to our S3 bucket, this file will not be available here. That's because we need to run the data sync task one more time. Okay, let me go to DataSync here, DataSync service. Click on the task and select the task and start with the defaults. So, okay, the task is completed. Now the new image is copied here, and let's go back to task status, and it's completed. It's in available state. And if you click on task history, so it's completed, success here. This is the second task, actually the third one, the second success one. So the new image is copied here. Whatever that we have copied here, the new image, it's now available. So it looks good, everything is fine. But now if you go and see our mount from file gateway, we will not have this file. The new file is not available. It's only available under the NFS share, and it is available in our S3 bucket here, but it is not available in our file share. The reason is because we have copied the file, the new one, from our NFS share to our S3 bucket using a DataSync service. So the file is copied using DataSync service. So the storage gateway service doesn't know that the new file has been copied. So that's why we are not able to see the new file under our /MNT/FGW mount. So to fix that, let's go here and go to our file share details. Click on the files, and here the file share, and let's just refresh the cache. So just start refresh cache. So we just started the cache refresh. So once this is completed, and we'll be able to see the new file here and our file mount. Got it? It's pretty fast, it's quick. So the new image is now available under our file share also. So everything looks good now. So we don't need our NFS server. If you want, we can just unmount it. So I can just go ahead and sudo umount and data. That's good. So we don't need this. We can just, we have unmounted our file share from our NFS server, and we just have only our the file are mounted from our gateway service. Let me clear this one. Good. So we have this one, only this. And if you run our under data, nothing is there. But if you do it from our file gateway, okay, we have implemented this architecture in this video, and hope you have found this video useful and learned something out of it. And in this video, we have used the AWS DataSync service to migrate data from on-premises data center to AWS S3 bucket, and we have used the AWS Storage Gateway service to present the file system back to on-premises, and we have done it using VPC endpoints and AWS site-to-site VPN connection. We haven't used public service endpoints. We have used private endpoints, the VPC interface endpoints. So hope you found this useful. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel for more AWS related videos. And please like and comment if you have any questions, and I'll try to answer. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.